So Bert, it's been a while. And do you know what today is? 6 years. And what a 6 years it's been! So, see anything new lately?
If you knew, if you saw the things I saw, heard the things I heard, I've been in that box for 3 years.
4 years.
4 years?
Oh, I saw that one too. Here we are back at it again with Hotel Transylvania 4. We started with Hotel Transylvania 2, and we had a big gap, and we came back with Hotel Transylvania 3, and now here we are again with Hotel Transylvania 4. Why, you may ask? Why Hotel Transylvania? Because it's funny.
We should have lied and pretended like it was Hotel Transylvania 8, and I think people would have just believed it.
Yeah, the amount of people who don't know that this movie came out is pretty astounding.
I remember sitting down to watch this and remembering the third one and thinking like, oh, we just saw trailers for that. Is that what we're about to watch? I don't think I saw any marketing for this.
You forgot about the third movie.
That's true.
You didn't see marketing for it because it didn't get released in theaters. It was going to be released in theaters. Now, it was one of those weird COVID movies where it kept getting delayed, kept getting pushed back, and then it finally came out because Amazon bought the rights. And it just got, like, dumped onto Amazon.
Is Gennady finally released from making these movies?
See, that's the interesting thing about this one, though. He didn't even make it. He was released for making these before this one even came out.
So who made this?
Would you like to explain the plot of Hotel Transylvania 4? Our very first big return.
Remember the second movie?
Do you, like, forget this movie?
Clearly I remember it because I just gave you a fantastic synopsis. They have everything they need to know.
Dracula's retiring, he's gonna give the hotel away to Mavis and Johnny, and then he has, like, a freak-out moment with Johnny where it's like, I can't give this to a human, lies to him, so Johnny thinks he has to be a monster.
Wrong.
What?
He's not freaking out because he's a human. That's the lie he uses as an excuse. He's freaking out because he's worried they're going to change it and make it their own and make it crazy, and he just likes it the way it is. So he lies, and he says, I can only give it to a monster.
So anyway, Johnny goes to turn himself into a monster. Drac is like, Johnny, what did you do? And then they get into a fight. Drac turns human, and then they break the stone, the magic stone, and they have to travel to Brazil. Well, that's pretty much it. I don't think there's really much else to talk about the story. They go to Brazil, they find the rock, they turn back.
Fun fact, the sidekicks, the little monster friends, they all become human. And we finally see what the Invisible Man looks like.
They revealed that in the trailer. That's the only time I ever heard anybody talking about this movie, was when they revealed what he looked like, and everybody was like, oh no, he isn't hot. He isn't like hot dad bod man.
That's the joke.
Yeah, that is the joke. Did you like this movie?
If this was just a regular old children's movie, I would give it a little bit of slack. But it's nothing compared to the others. And it's such a regurgitation of what we've already seen them work through. And I kind of thought it was boring. I don't know.
It was boring. It wasn't very funny. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't energetic the way the other three were. Even the second one, I feel like, had more like of a driving force behind what was happening. This one just felt like an episode of TV.
Yeah.
And it's really unfortunate because Gennady Tartakovsky, who is great, who's the reason why we're reviewing these movies in the first place, made these movies, and, you know, it's the second one had all these problems, and they kind of gave more creative control to Adam Sandler. The movie bombed, critically and financially, and so they were, between that and Pixels and like all this stuff happening with Adam Sandler, they were like, okay, maybe the first movie worked because of the director and not because of Adam Sandler. So they gave him more creative control in Hotel Transylvania 3. It was a big success. People really liked that one. So for this one, they were like, okay, make your movie. Do whatever you want. Just do it. What does he do? Quits.
I still don't blame him.
Moves to the producer role because he's too busy with like other things, which, to be fair, the other things he's busy with are a lot better than this. It's just really unfortunate. Like, all around, I feel like this movie completely dropped the ball, and, you know, like, people kind of grew up with these movies the same way that people grew up with Toy Story. Not to the same level, not to nearly the same impact, but to be a film series since, what, 2011?
And in this day and age where kids' movies are just gone,
yeah,
that's some substance.
And here we are in 2022 with the new Hotel Transylvania movie, and it just doesn't, like, do anything. It's just nothing.
The real issue is that usually kids' movies are so offensively bad that this is just numb and neutral, but compared to the series, such a letdown. Like, such a disappointment.
Yeah. I feel like there's, like, such a cheapness to this one that the other three don't have.
Oh, yes. It feels so cheap. Why is that?
It's, like, every level. It's, like, the writing. So the main plot of this movie is that Drac wants to give away his hotel. And right away, it's like, that's not his character in any way. That's not something he would ever do. That goes against everything he was in the first three movies. And that's like the first scene of this movie. Right away, they're completely getting his character wrong.
The concept of retirement for a vampire is stupid. It should just be like, I'm gonna go on a 7-year vacation. He cares too much about that hotel for this to have actually been the major plot point.
There's a lot that I'd like to talk about with the plot, and I don't know how to, like, piece it all together. In that vein, something I really wish this series would have touched on is mortality. Drac is never going to die. Mavis is never going to die. Johnny is going to die one day.
Also, how much time has passed since they first started dating? Like,
Yeah.
how much has he aged?
That's another one, because, you know, first movie, they have a baby. Second movie, it's a toddler. This movie, they're all the same age. I feel like mortality is something that really needed to be explored in this series. Because it's like, what does Drac want? What does Mavis want? What does Johnny want? And then they can explore themes of, like, acceptance and loss and moving forward and moving on and, like, next chapters of your life. And then that would be the perfect way to feed into him giving up his hotel and being like, okay, I need to move on from this and do more with my life.
They've really changed it into, let's just accept Johnny into the family story, part 2.
Yeah.
And there's so much they could have done with the family business dynamic to make this interesting or make it about literally anything else.
They took him out of the hotel again. They could have kept him there. Like, could you imagine a movie where it was like them trying to run the hotel together? Like, how dysfunctional and comedic that could have been.
Yeah. I did like that they had Drax as a human. I thought that was interesting.
I did too. I really wish all of the monsters became human. There's that scene where, like, the magic laser beam goes into the ice sculpture, and I was like, oh, it's gonna refract and hit everybody in the room. And then it doesn't. The main side cast just drink the water and then transform, and it's like, that's stupid. That's not how that would work. And that, I think, feeds into, like, the cheapness of this movie, is that they didn't want to have to model all of those characters twice. The animation in this was pretty bad.
Yeah.
It was very empty. It was like, I don't know, there was something with the render. It was just like really, it wasn't like refined as much as the other movies are, as the typical CGI movie is. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe they like saw this movie and they were like, we can't release this into theaters. Like visually how it's looking right now. Or maybe when they made that decision, they were like, okay, we don't need to put that much time into rendering this movie. It looks bad. Like, side-by-side comparison, two movies, Hotel Transylvania 1, Hotel Transylvania 4, one looks better. Maybe it was just lack of experience on the director's part.
You have to think they've already got CGI models of everything they needed for this movie. It couldn't have been that hard to make it look good.
Is it like the sets, like props and stuff, where they throw them away after each shoot? They're just like deleting all the files after each movie is completed.
That would be especially stupid.
It would be, but I wouldn't be surprised if they like remade everything each movie.
I don't know that there's anything noteworthy with the acting. Is there?
There is. So, Dracula is not voiced by Adam Sandler in this movie.
I did not know that.
You didn't know that?
I really did not know that.
Like, up to now, you didn't know that?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes. I
thought
had no
told
idea.
you this before.
Maybe? I don't know.
So that's part of what happened, where, like, Adam Sandler kind of turned his back on this series, and I don't know if it's like a pride thing, or if it's like I'm making more adult movies now.
It's an Uncut Gems related thing.
Yeah, maybe he's like on to bigger and better things, and he just doesn't want anything to do with this. Kind of like exactly what happened with Kendi. But it's not Adam Sandler voicing Drac, it's this guy. He did the voice of Drac in the short films, and apparently that's like more what Kennedy was like looking for with Drac. He really does sound like Adam Sandler doing that voice. There were a few lines here and there that were like, oh, that's a different guy, but for quite a while you just have no idea.
Like, up until this exact moment, you have no idea.
Sure. So he obviously does a very good job.
Steve Buscemi's still in it, though, right?
Yeah. And then the only other person they changed was Kevin James and CeeLo Green.
Oh, CeeLo Green.
That was very...
Whoever was trying to do that.
I think it was Keegan-Michael Key from Key and Peele.
Really?
Yeah. I think that's who I saw in the credits. Like, he did a good job, he just did not fit the character design.
How interesting.
I feel like a lot of the side characters got left out of this one. Like, there's not much to talk about in terms of acting. Like, even Mavis, I feel like, was barely in this movie.
Yeah, she was just there to, like, be a piece between Jonathan and Drax. This movie just feels like you could have cut it down into 10 minutes and accomplished the exact same plot.
Like a TV episode.
It's
very, very disappointing.
Yeah.
I would not recommend this movie.
Same.
I would put this slightly higher than the second movie, I think.
Unless your child's about to watch something really annoying, this would maybe be better, but I wouldn't pursue it. Wait, Chris. Wasn't our 6-year anniversary last week?